The best moment to photograph the forest in winter is when you have snow or hoarfrost on the branches and on the trees. The bonus that we have today is, of course, the fog that makes everything more spectacular. It adds mystery, it clears the clutter and the chaos of the forest, and it helps you separate the point of focus or the subject from the background or the rest of the forest. For this first shot, I decided to go with a panorama. I took 6 photos, and I know it's going to be a little wider than I like, because I prefer panoramas made out of 5 photos, but we'll see how it looks. And the settings are f11 ISO 150th of a second. The main focus is the trail that goes into the distance, into the fog, and the panoramic format. As I said before, I think it helps to better illustrate the proportion of the place. Now, a little tip for the photographers that use DSLRs is to compensate the exposure, because whenever you're photographing in winter conditions, your camera will try to underexpose the scene a little bit because it sees all this brightness of the snow. Now, what you need to do is overexpose 1 stop or 1.5 stops. Sometimes if the light is really bright, you will have to go even up to 2 or 2.5 stops. Right now, because it's winter, I'm preparing a masterclass in editing that it's going to take place live online, and it's going to have 4 sessions. It's going to take a month, just because I want the participants on that masterclass to be able to apply the things that they're going to learn, and the details are going to be posted on my website. The link is in the description of this video, and this masterclass is going to take place in January. For this shot, I'm keeping f11 ISO 100, and I'm having 1/80th of a second, and it's a very simple shot. I'm using this tree over here and this other tree over here as guardians, as elements that will guide the attention of the viewer over there in the background where the fog is. It helps the trail that is visible on the ground, helps with as a leading line, and it points the attention of the viewer in the direction I really want. This entry over here in the forest looks really nice, and I'm using over here these fallen leaves on the ground, and these are my starting point. And again, the attention of the viewer is in the background over there. So as you can see, these are simple things that I'm doing because the landscape is simpler in winter. It's much easier to photograph than in spring, summer and autumn, because of the snow and the simplicity of the forest. Our settings are pretty much the same, 1/50th of a second, f11 and ISO 100, so the conditions don't change. A quick tip for you: whenever you're taking a shot in a portrait format, try to find a composition that will also work in a landscape format, because when you are on location, you think about it in a way, but when you detach yourself and you are back home, you're seeing everything completely different. this shot over here, it's really nice. So as you can see now, I'm sitting really low. I'm at ISO 100 f 5.6 and 250th of a second, and I'm sitting really low to capture the branches of that tree and over there. So by sitting really low, I can better see the branches, I can better separate it, and I'm also using an open aperture of 5.6 and the longer focal length. I'm at 50 millimeters, and this way the tree is going to be separated a little bit more from the background. From this moment, I couldn't film anymore because my camera fell from the tripod and the lens that it was on my camera broke, so I had to use the lens that I was filming with. And I will show you the photos that I got and talk a little bit about each of these photos. So as you can see, I really prefer, or I really like photographing in a panoramic format. It's a very simple reason for that. You can feel how vast the space is. You get proportion, you get depth. You immerse yourself in the landscape in front of you. I have a very clear path in the middle of the panorama, and all these other trees are darker, as you can see, and the more you get away from the viewer or the foreground, the more faded the trees are. And here is when the fog helps in. Now again, another photo is another panorama. It's a little bit wider than I would like. It becomes thinner, as you can see, but I'm having these beautiful guardians to the left and to the right of the photo. So a very this kind of photo would work really well as a banner if you want a practical and commercial application of this photo, but it would also look really nice on a print. Now remember, when you want to print panoramas, especially the ones that have these kind of proportions, you have to print big, and by big I mean really big, otherwise it's not going to look interesting. Over here I really like these trunks, these strange looking trunks, and because of the darkness of the foreground trees, I think you get a sense of depth. And from this moment on, I just walked towards the edge of the forest when I noticed more light, and that is why you have this feeling of darker trees, and then the trail goes into the distance and you get a sense of depth. And over here, for example, I'm having these fallen leaves as a point of interest, as a leading line that takes the attention of the viewer in the background. So it's not very difficult to photograph in a situation like this when snow and fog takes away from the clutter. Over here I decided to take another panorama, but with this strange looking tree right in the middle of the shot. And after that, slowly but surely, I was seeing the end of the forest. Now there are more photos that I want to show to you, because the dramatic effect of these photos increased as I approached the exit of the forest. And the reason for that was the high contrast between the darkness of the forest and how the light looked outside of the forest. Now you see trees becoming more and more darker, and the light becomes stronger outside the forest. Now you get a sense of mystery, a sense of calmness. It depends on what type of person you are, and depending on that, you feel the photos in a different way. I had a person saying to me that he will not be in a forest that looks like this. He would think it's dangerous, or he got scared. But for me, it's like a fairy tale. It's almost like you're waiting for a magic creature to appear, or to see its shadow glimpse in the distance. And I really, really like this contrast. I think it creates a very beautiful and pleasing image to look at. And I'm always using these dark trunks in the foreground to mark the beginning of the photo, and to also help with this feeling of depth that I want to create in these forest photos. Really like them. Over here I actually got out of the forest and photographed from the light towards the forest. This is the trail from where I came, and you can see the frost on the branches is absolutely spectacular. It's incredible looking. I don't think you can get better than this of photographing the forest in winter conditions. I think this is the maximum that you can get. Frost, snow, and fog. I think these are the perfect conditions. And as you can see, the images continue to depict that calm feeling, that beautiful and calm feeling. And even though I'm repeating myself as I'm looking at these photos, that's the feeling that I'm having. All the small branches that you see on the ground, it's because of the heavy snow that broke a lot of small branches from the trees. Probably I could edit this more. I could clean up very easily the landscape. I chose not to do this for this presentation. I choose to keep it as it is, like signs of something that happened in the forest, and you need to imagine what it was because I wasn't there. This is also an image, a very simple image. When I turned my back to the exit of the forest, it was such an eerie light in the rest of the forest, and the feeling changed completely. Now I'm in a place of darkness. I'm photographing towards a light that it's warmer. You see this yellowish tint. This is not something that I did in the editing. That was the actual feeling in the forest at that time. So this is it for today. So in the end, if you're interested in my editing techniques, I'm going to have a live masterclass in January, at the end of January or the beginning of February. The details are going to be posted on my website, and the link is in the description of this video. There are limited seats, so make sure you book yours. Until next time, keep on photographing, because it's the only way that you can get better.